We're Kaylee and Lindy. Each week on this vlog, we take you behind the scenes as we create our dream permaculture homestead with a lot of sweat, effort, and love. Join us this week as we start yet another new project that will ultimately help us become more self-sufficient. And if you like what you see, hit that like, subscribe, or share button to help spread the word.
We're wild and free. I feel so alive, so alive.
Good morning!
Good morning!
It is a glorious day. So we are switching our focus a little bit from working inside on the canning kitchen this weekend, which was our original plan, to doing a project in the garden, which I am excited about. And I've been waiting on this slowpoke all morning because we need to do chores first and then we can get to the project.
I haven't been that slow.
Oh, you guys, it's killing me. Like I want to do it so bad.
There's no patience, none at all.
I've been very patient.
Have you? Yeah, you
Very.
have actually.
Very patient. It's glorious out. Like I cannot believe
You guys hear all the birdies?
it's been such a cold April. It has been rainy and stormy, snowing, and we finally have a good weekend of sunshine and blue skies, warmth. So we're gonna make the most of it and do an outdoor project today before it starts raining again and gets cold again.
Is it supposed to rain again?
Yeah,
Aww.
like all week. All right, off to the races.
Opens the pokey race.
If you're in it, it will be today. Based off of the speed you're currently moving.
I'm doing so good.
Oh, look at these poor horsies. Are you guys ready? You're like, we were ready hours ago. I know, I was ready hours ago too. But your mom, you gotta talk to her about it. So we've gotten a little bit behind on the compost. So it was supposed to be turned last weekend and we were just so busy that we didn't get to it. So before we can get to the garden project, we also have to turn the compost and then check that off the list and then get to the garden area. But before we can do the garden, we need to do a little bit of work with the chickens. So there's always like a million pre-steps before you can get to the actual project. So frustrating. So before we can get to our actual garden project, which is creating our new garden space over here, we need to do a little bit of work with the tractor chickens. So they've been over here for a couple of weeks now, and they've been helping to prepare the ground. So you can see how much work they've really done. They kind of eat the weeds, eat the grass, till everything up, do a lot of like pest removal. Unfortunately, they've also broken down a little bit, so we lost a wheel, and the roof flew off in a big storm. So we just need to do some work, some maintenance on it. So we actually bought some larger wheels. These are great, but these ones they came with, they just aren't large enough for uneven surfaces. So we're gonna be trading these out today, fixing the roof, taking off the rest of those panels that we had on for winter. I've been slowly removing them so that they have additional airflow, and we've had some super chilly nights, some snow, stuff like that. So I'm really glad I left them on, but we're kind of out of that now for the most part. Fingers crossed.
For real.
So we're gonna remove the rest of those. So what we've been doing is they're obviously in their tractor for part of the day, and then the other part of the day they spend in the garden. They're getting a lot of the slugs, the cutworms, things like that. So it's super, super important in the fall and winter time to have them working on the garden beds. But now it's time for us to start planting. So they go back into their little fenced area. So this fence we can move with them in their tractor, poultry fencing. And then these are the step-in posts. So they have a little, basically a little metal spike at the bottom. So you can just move it wherever you need to. It moves along with them. So it makes it really easy to go ahead and pick it all up, remove it all, and move it to a new area. So now that they can't be out in the garden as full-time as they were, they'll have that space as well. But we need to get them unbroken down and moved out of this area so we can start on this garden space. Ready?
Yep.
Ready. These are the new wheels that we got, so you can see the size difference there. Are you in there? Tweet, 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 tweet.
I don't think they like me being a roommate.
Good to know that if you're ever bad, I can just put you in there.
The barn would be more better.
Okay. That's gonna be so much better. It gives us so much more clearance.
You're unpredictable when you ask me why.
Whoa. I just don't know my own strength.
So right now we're just fixing the roof. Okay, cool, roof is fixed. So we got a really big windstorm and it blew the roof off even though we had it weighted down. So then we weighted it down even more. So Lindy is now going to try tying it down to see if that holds it a little better. This whole chicken tractor thing, it's a constant work in progress.
It's evolving.
Okay, and then the other thing I forgot to mention is that we actually need to clip their wings as well. So obviously they are fairly flighted birds and they can fly over this. Well, most of them can fly over the fence. So we clip their wings in the springtime, and that way they're not flying over and into the garden space and digging up all of our hard work. So we're gonna do that today too. So when you trim their flight feathers, it doesn't hurt them at all. You're just trimming this longer set.
The lighter ones.
So these longer feathers right here. So that's what we're gonna do. And you just cut them right off like that. Doesn't hurt them. It's just enough. You can't even tell afterwards, and it's just enough to set them off balance so that they can't fly. They can still obviously flap and stuff like that, but they can't get the same like height that they would otherwise.
Yeah, because these are the ones that allow them to catch air.
And you just want to use nice sharp scissors. So we're actually using our sewing scissors. That's terrible. I know. That's a faux pas, but
That's huge.
all right, honey. Oh my goodness. You're flapping my face.
Go, chicken wrangler, go. Ooh, good snag.
That's great. If you feel the same.
Boy, she's in all the feelings right now.
All right, I think we got them all.
Goodness.
That's great. If you feel the same. Don't want it any other way.
So for those of you who saw my video about the mistakes that I made in our sheet mulching project, this is the progress so far after we corrected it, and look how great it looks. So there is still some grass popping up in certain spots, but for the most part it looks amazing. Having the chickens in here has been a huge benefit. They've scratched out so many weeds and grass. We have planted some perennials, as you can see, but for the first growing season, we're gonna really heavily rely on annuals, honestly for the first several growing seasons, to form that ground cover. And so Lindy's getting the chickens set up over here. So now that they are secure in here and hopefully can't fly over as easily, we will be able to start putting the garden beds back together. I'm a bit far behind this year, but oh well. Okay, so now that we have the chickens taken care of, it's time to start in on our actual project for the day. Now that half the day is over, we have that big space that we want to extend the garden into. So we have the big half arc back there, half arc, I don't know. And then we have this big space over here that we want to extend into. So if you watched our little tour that we gave where we talked about our goals, the projects we wanted to do in 2022, this was one of the spaces that we discussed. This is a great, nice, sunny spot. It's really ideal except for one thing, which is that it's possibly close to our drain field. We talked more about that in that video. I'll tag it up above. And originally we were going to do a row style garden, and with a lot of thought, we decided to go a little bit different this year. It took Lindy a little convincing, but
Yeah.
you're not the one maintaining it. So
True.
we usually kind of go with the no dig method, very similar to how we're doing the large perennial area in the back. But for the first couple of years, it takes a little bit of maintenance, a little bit of finessing to get it really set up right. So right now, I just really don't have the time or the energy to do that. So what we're gonna do is, instead of developing in-ground row style beds like what we originally planned to do, we are instead, I purchased some large 200-gallon grow bags that we're going to put in the space. This will allow us to grow in them for probably 3 or 5 years, depending, giving us some time where we can set up the garden super fast, have it ready to go, and use it for the next couple of years, and then essentially develop it into the space that we want long term as we go. The drain field is nearby. We don't know exactly where, so this will also give us some, clearance with that, where if we need to move them, we haven't dedicated hours and hours of time developing beds. We'll be able to more easily move the grow beds. The grow bags are pretty tall, so then we can set smaller bags and containers.
We have to
below.
figure out where we want the bags though, because once they're full, we will not be moving them.
Yeah, I know technically you can move them, but we can't.
No, guys. No.
Right? No, not happening. So, but what is nice is if long term we're like, this wasn't ideal with the drain field situation, we need to move them further away or whatever.
I can't picture it. So you guys are gonna see these bags. They're like the size of our house. They're massive.
They're big. Yeah, so I'll link it down below, but they're from Bootstrap Farmer. They're really heavy duty, really nice, but we'll show them to you. But I think right now we're gonna go in, grab some lunch, take a little break, and then get to it.
And then cardboard is the first step.
And then
right?
cardboard. Okay, so the first step in this process is laying down a super thick layer of cardboard. That's going to act basically as a barrier between the ground and the established weeds and plant growth and the new mulch that we're putting on top. So no white or dyed cardboard, and then we remove all the tape off of it and then pull it into place and try to cover all the gaps. We do actually a couple layers because we want it to be a really nice thick border, but it's going to break down over time, and it's basically, instead of using like more of like a landscape fabric or something like that has plastics in it, this is a nice natural alternative, and it is there long enough to basically suppress the growth down below. We've obviously been doing prep work, so that helps as well, having the chickens really go through this area and clean it out. You can see a dramatic difference between where they've been and the rest of the space, which is very green. This used to be a pasture area, so we have a lot of grass, a lot of weeds and things like that. So it's really important that we do this step first before we lay down any mulch. And then the mulch is going to help with that as well. It's a really high carbon material, so we use like a natural fir, and it looks really nice. Again, it's all natural, and because it's so high in carbon, that makes it much harder for plant growth to take seed in that area. So we're going to get started, get this laid.
Where you at with it? Always overthinking every aspect. Settle down and let it go. Settle down and let it go. Oh, oh. Everybody else trying so hard. You just gotta listen to your own heart. Settle down and let it go. Settle down and let it go. Oh, oh. Tell me something. Have you wanted to be someone else? Then tell me what you waiting for.
Okay, so we have all of the cardboard down in place, and then we've created a border using these old branches from trees that we took down when we first moved in. They make a great border and also a habitat for beneficial insects and things like that. So now it's time to start filling the space with the mulch. And you saw we kind of sprayed it down as we went, and we just kept spraying it down, spraying it down. This actually just helps kind of speed up the decomposition and helps keep some of the moisture in the soil layer down below. You can also see I left a border. That's again to intentionally have a space in between so that the grass and the weeds that are traveling in aren't traveling directly into the space. It gives us more time to catch them and get them removed before they enter into the space and get kind of caught up in that border area. It's coming together so quickly, but now we gotta start hauling the bark into place.
Let me introduce myself. I'm not the same person you knew. Life in a brand new light. There's nothing that I can't do.
Okay, so this is as far as we got. I don't think that spatially guessing how much bark we need is our best skill, but that's okay. We're gonna run and grab more.
I think we need 6 yards.
And we can always pull it back from like where the actual beds are going because it doesn't need to have mulch obviously under the actual beds. They're still raised garden beds.
But they're bags.
Boy, the
We'll
bag
never get
beds.
to see that again.
The bag beds.
Yeah.
I don't see us finishing the whole project today like I kind of thought.
No.
Unfortunately, the place that is close to us where we got the first load yesterday, they aren't open on Sundays. So we're gonna have to drive a little bit further. And then we'll probably need another load. I'll have to go get it during the week, I think.
Yep.
I have
Make a
mulch.
wish. Make a wish.
I wish it was done. It was a beautiful garden.
It didn't come true.
It's such a big space. It's even bigger than I realized.
Yeah.
Each of the bags is equivalent to like a 4x4 bed, and we have 10 of them that we got. You know, 16 square foot each. It's like 160 square feet. Are you ready, Stan?
He's tired boy.
He is super tired for once. Let's go in and kennel and you can take a little nap while we go. Catch your breath. Oh, I know. All right, I'm gonna jump in the car. Actually jump in Todd the truck. Go for a little drive. All right, we are back with load number 2. This is a more coarse ground to go on the top layer, so we were able to spread out the fine stuff pretty well along the bottom. So then we'll top it with this, and then we'll probably still need another 2 yards, but this is a good start. Well, that's clearly as much as we can do today. I think we're gonna need probably another 2 truckloads, so another 4 yards. I'm gonna try to like sneak that in during the week so that next week we can get straight into filling the bag beds and getting them put in place. But I'm getting so excited for it. Like the more I see it coming together, like I'm actually really excited for it now.
I can't visualize it yet.
Really? Still not? Well, let's go scheme about it and call it quits for tonight. So we will pick you guys up again next week. Hopefully I'll have made some more progress on this during the week, and then over the next weekend when we are back with you guys, we can show you getting the bags put in place and hopefully the finished results.
Yes, I think that's.
I think it's doable. Yeah. All right. Well, have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you next weekend.
Bye, guys.
When
Bye.
everybody else trying so hard, you just gotta listen to your own heart. Settle down and let it go. Settle down and let it go.